Good morning, I'm going to call this regular meeting of the Worcester County Commission here. All the agendas on hand, board. Be with every heart, mind, in this building, and this room, this time. During the duration of this meeting, Lord, I was called of this God, you are praised and honored, and Lord, in your name, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
And item number 3, So we have 3 that signed up, and they're specific to the item number, so when those come up, I'll call you up. And those that are signed up is Ms. Kitty, Ms. Love, and the girl, correct? Are there any others?
Jody Doyle.
What agenda item did you use there?
13 and 14.
We'll get that going. And item number 4, certificate of completion awards and bond continuation. Texas Veterans Commission BSCO initial training, Natalie Holworth, E.G. Young, Schools or County Commission Support Educational Training, Mr. Cardola. CTAT, Continuing Education for Christina Moots, County Treasurer, and Cat County Investment Academy, Christina Moots. Agenda item number 5, we move to city staff or emergency management coordinator, discuss and take action on memorandum of agreement between emergency response services and Folsom County. Good morning. Good morning. So, we have an MOU to review. It's with National Emergency Response Services. They are in the Folsom County. They help building of the action resources. It's also a source Cuban uses, and it just puts us a little quicker than having to go to Cuban sometimes. With me is Alex O'Rourke. I'll let him give you a rundown.
Good morning, Judge and Council. I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to explain. I think the differentiator here is we're a 501c3 nonprofit all hazards emergency management company. Makes us a little bit different because we become the force multiplier for your current emergency services that you have in the city or the county. Anytime you have a mass disaster, whether it be emergency services on sheltering, mass feeding, or medical sheltering, we prioritize that and we be able to provide services directly to you. You don't necessarily have to run this up to the state. If you need to run it at a local level, we have that opportunity to do that for you as well. We also have a lot of other equipment and supplies, emergency management, command platforms, if you will. If you guys have an incident that was going to last for a duration of 2 or 3 days, you needed something to use as to support a unified command, we have those equipment available to you as well. And that is at no charge that we do that. What we like to do is be able to provide to the cities and counties of the state of Texas opportunities to have these resources available to them that have been paid from previous responses from the state, which allows us the opportunity to give back to the state and give those services too. I do like to offer you guys an opportunity to come by our facilities and let us tour our Emergency Operations Center and how we support the state of Texas. Department of State Health Services, we provide the first 2,050 medical shelter beds for them. We also support TDM on multiple responses across the state, but we also have agreements with Louisiana, Florida, North Carolina, and a few other states as well. So we are a force multiplier to providing services above and beyond what you currently have.
Where are you located?
We're located in headquarters, just right outside of San Antonio, on the north side of 35 to be only be based off of say you had a large scale incident of, let's just say a train accident that was going to run you for a month, as an example, because of hazardous materials that you're going to have to use a specific shelter for your general population. You'd be able to come in and set up a shelter for you, either in hard structure and or soft side structure. That's what we require. responded to, we're already in Kerrville before the happened. And here's where it was live, and this example. We had a command platform there that was already assigned into the fort. However, the services of all command platforms, the personnel that we had initially said that it was in charge of fees for that. However, when we extended emergency management platform, meaning that they had logistics and operations and planning section sheets that were supporting them, the city, but allowing the police chief and the fire chief to actually run the incident for those three personnel to be able to support that very response.
So before you do anything, if there's gonna be a cost involved, you would notify them.
Yes, sir, that is correct. We'll provide you with the full budget. We'll be able to propose that to you prior to you actually having to make a decision. That is correct.
Any other questions? All right. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the memorandum of agreement between Emergency Response Services and Wilson County.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Keyes, seconded by Commissioner Cordova. Do we have any other discussion before we get
Just, Commissioner Martin said something about, the notification process. Of course, I'm trying to get a fit between you and TDM. As a society, we have gone through flooding, and we have had a tornado hit this community, and those are the things that I envision. I'm trying to see how we would incorporate your services into dealing with those things that have been usual or customary for our, the last, we'll call it 40 years. And I'm trying to develop a need, I guess, is the best way.
Understood. So if you have a large population of your community that was displaced and you were trying to provide specific sheltering or temporary housing in order for them, we could come in and help support you with that. Meaning that we can either bring in additional support from our alliances, other companies that we work directly with, they provide those services, meaning that if you need some hardened structures to be built or moved in as temporary, we can have those services. If you need to have additional personnel to help support a 24-hour operation, we can do that. If you need additional feeding, sheltering, you need to set up a medical shelter that would be able to support that. We could bring a field hospital in and be able to support that as well. I think the robust ability for us and the equipment that we possess as a company, really you have to give me a little bit more time that I could give you more detailed information. However, what I do is I have a few pamphlets here, and I can also send you a link, and it will give you a little quick 1-minute video that will articulate a little bit more of this information, and I think that would be a force multiplier to your emergency services.
Questions?
Mrs. Huron, you looked over the email.
It's just a collaborative type of understanding of county needs assistance. That's what we're doing.
It's a no cost, no obligation MOU. It's a matter of having the MOU in place already prior to you having a situation and trying to go backpedal and get that solved before we're able to bring the services out to you. However, I can tell you that if you had a large scale incident, I wouldn't be bringing resources out here, even if the MOU wasn't in place, but we'd prefer to have that ahead of time so that there are no issues or concerns. So if there's anything in the MOU that you don't feel comfortable with, just send it back to me. I'll send it back to my legal, we'll take care of it, and we'll send it back to you.
I'd like to see this expire at the end of the calendar year, this first one. Only because we're gonna have a new judge next year, so, we may wanna do something different.
We can do that, that's not a problem.
And
You want to amend that, Commissioner, or whoever made?
Mr. Bishop, you make the
You want to amend it?
no, for calendar first.
We're going to rescind it. Go ahead and rescind and state your.
Well, hang on, let me ask you another question. So what is a bilateral task order? I mean, we're gonna issue you a purchase order is what we issue.
Right. What we'd be able to provide you is the initial quote for storage services, whatever that might be, we would be able to submit that to you. If you want to do a work order as an example, that sort of method of payment, you can do that, or if you want to set that up, but we'd be able to work with you the right support anyway that the county does it. All counties in the state of Texas operate just a little bit different, so that's why I'm saying we will either amend or abide whatever you need to do.
So, this month, one thing we would issue is a purchase order, right?
So to get a purchase order, you would have to, we either have to budget for something like this, or we have to fill out an unexpected expenses.
Right. Right, I know that.
Yeah, for the issue.
If it was a real emergency, we'd have to have an emergency. So can we change the word? Why that, or ask for a purchase order? Which is what our expectation, what they should expect for us, an attachment B.
Motion to make motion, to accept the memorandum of agreement between Emergency Response Service and Wilson County with an expiration date of January 1st, 2027, and to change the verbiage to purchase.
Okay, Wilkerson, a motion made now by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Carroll. Any other discussion regarding this agenda item? Hearing none, I'm calling for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Ayes have it, passes. Thank you. And item number 6, move to the hearing mark, Commissioner Precinct 1, discussion and Precinct 1. We have 2 speakers, Stevie as well, is that correct? Is there anybody else? Oh, hold on. Is there any other?
For agenda item 6, correct?
Ms. Rose? And what the public comments was.
No, you're only speaking on item 6.
Just gonna speak on the 6, and then we'll call you back for the other item.
Makes it kind of difficult to read this. As far as item 6 goes, I'm actually being heard. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong item. I don't know the name of the solar farm, I know the solar where it is. I don't have an answer, or I'm not able to speak, if I want to say, no, give me more time to say to you guys. And while I'm here, may I speak on something else as well?
No, ma'am.
Now, let's go down this, Ms. Kibbe?
Good morning, gentlemen. When I read the agenda, I made an assumption, and we all know what assuming does, but nevertheless, I made the assumption that this wouldn't be on the agenda unless these people, whoever they are, were considering asking for a tax abatement, because there really wouldn't be another reason to put it on the agenda. And so, that being said, if that is the game plan, I want to once again remind you guys of what I believe ought to be in any agreement for a solar facility that is asking for tax abatement from the county. First, there needs to be a contractual provision that makes it possible to transfer the project or its area to a public entity, that is a non-taxpaying entity. Why would you give tax abatement if they're not gonna be collecting taxes in the long run? The property lease has been executed by the property owner or they already own the property. Require a setback from property lines, 300 feet is really nice from this, okay? With bringing the site screening to avoid making the rest of the property not only be licensed with Evergreen, but five, require that all used water be reclaimed and treated to meet TCEQ standards prior to discharge, because we don't need to dirty up our creeks. And if the access to the property is by county road, then they need to be putting enough funds in to account for the increased need, the increased cost of maintaining those access roads. Without more information on this project, don't have anything else to say, but I did want to remind you guys of where my bottom line is, okay? Thank you.
Ms. Doyle?
Well, I'm against this anymore, these solar farms that's coming in because, data centers, because, and power plants, because this is pretty much what all this is leading to. There's, I believe, 6 in the interconnection queue, 6 solar farms and 6 battery storage facilities. And I really think it's a bad idea for Wilson County to just get paved over with solar farms. We stand before you today not with speculation, but with clarity. The Republican Party of Texas has officially adopted a resolution addressing that unchecked expansion of large-scale data centers across our state. And the solar farms are coming before the data centers. This is not opinion, this is your party's stated position. That resolution warns of exactly what we are now facing in Wilson, massive strain on our aquifers, increased demand for power generations, lack of transparency, and long-term damage to our communities. This is coming. This is not coming, it's here. And yet the Commissioners Court continues to delay, deflect, and deny responsibility. 2 weeks ago, residents were told there was limited knowledge of these projects. Now projects are being announced. So we ask you plainly, when did you know? And why were the people not told? The Republican platform does not say, wait too late. It does not say allow unchecked industrial expansion into rural counties. It calls for oversight, transparency, and protection of local resources. And today, none of those standards are being met. Wilson County residents are still without aquifer impact studies, infrastructure planning, emergency services evaluation, full public disclosure. These are not extreme demands. They are minimum expectations. Full public disclosure. Let us be clear. We are not against development. We are against reckless development. A good project can withstand scrutiny. If it cannot, it should not move forward. You were elected to represent the people of this county, not outside developers, not billion-dollar corporations, and not investors clearing land and extracting resources without accountability. If your own party recognizes this threat, why doesn't the court recognize it? We are demanding the following: immediate transparency on all proposed data centers, power plants, and industrial solar projects. Independent studies paid for by developers, not taxpayers. Public hearings before any agreements are made. Full disclosure of what has already been discussed or committed, because once this land is cleared, once our water is committed, and once these facilities are built, there is no undoing it. If you will not stand with the people of Wilson County, then step aside and let those who will. This is your legacy. It's these actions local history will remember you for. Thank you.
Commissioner, you have the floor.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Middock, you can come up. So this is Mr. Middock. He made contact with me. He wanted to come today to inform the court and the public about this project. And Mr. Middock, I'll let you introduce the other.
I'm Stephen Middock with Tax Consultant, out of Westlake. I help companies kind of navigate the tax abatement process. I've got Alan and Casey from Scott Clean Energy. Like Commissioner Martin said, we reached out in the fall. We did some brief teams call in, kind of tell them what the project was and the basics of it. And then we told them we wanted to come to the board and introduce the project to you guys with hopefully if you guys would accept an application for a tax abatement so we can talk about it further. I'll let them talk about their company and project and we can answer any questions. You guys should have packets.
Thank you.
and I apologize because I sent this twice and it didn't make it into the book or electronically, I don't know why. So I will,
We're having trouble hearing. Is there a way to?
You're not hearing them or here.
Everything's just really soft and muted.
I didn't hear what Dr. said.
I apologize, this is a brand new system, we just put it in so that everybody can hear. Technology's great when it works. Hello, hello? Go ahead. No, go ahead, you're good. You need to identify yourself.
Good morning, Commissioners, members of the public. My name is Alan Blazer. I'm with Scout Clean Energy. I'm joined here with my colleague here, Casey Walker Daniels, and Associate Project Manager and Director Evan Mallett in the corner there.
Can you repeat the name of your company?
Just go ahead and take your mic.
Again, thank you for having us this morning. We are a large-scale utility wind solar storage developer, leading developer in the U.S., North America as well. 1.6 gigawatts of projects currently in operation and construction. The project today we're talking about is Moonstone Solar. Representative of 1.6 gigawatts is about 11 of these projects. So quite a significant amount that we currently have in operation and construction. We're over 200 employees, and I will continue on. We're on the second page here, going to the third page. This is a map of our projects nationwide here, and I'd like to highlight the 3 projects currently in operation and owned by us in Texas. Heart of Texas is 180 megawatts, and that's in McCulloch County. Ranchero Wind is 300 megawatts, and that's in Crockett County. And Markham Solar, highlighting again the same kind of project we're proposing to develop here, is 161 megawatts, and that's in McLennan and Bosque County. I will pass it now to Casey, who will discuss the project details.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Happy to be here.
What's your name again?
Casey, Walker Daniels.
Hold it a little bit closer.
A little bit closer. There we go. So here today to introduce our project that is currently in development. It's an early stage project. It's called Moonstone Solar Farm. It is 145 megawatts AC once it's connected to the grid, which is expected to power about 30,000 homes in our estimates. It began its development with another developer in September of 2024, and we've been working on it ever since. It is located about 30 miles southeast of San Antonio, in Floresville area, between Floresville and Calaveras. And yeah, kind of wanted to pass it through and see if you guys have any questions about the project. We've got a project scheduled for you guys that we're working off of right now. We're currently targeting a 2029 commercial operations date. That's when it will be plugged into the grid and operational. And we're going to be targeting a start of construction about a year before it. And we do have some preliminary work. We're working with CPS Energy to start that process. And if all goes according to this schedule, that construction on the switchyard that is connected to that line will start in Q1 of 2027. Things can always change, but that's what we're projecting right now. I'll pass it off to Alan for some community impacts.
Thank you, Casey. So a couple of community benefits I'd like to note. Again, these projects are quite large, have a lot of CapEx put into the community on land. And so some notable benefits would be a lot of jobs during construction, a few jobs during operations as well, as these projects don't require a whole lot of maintenance. increased tax revenue annually, of course, paid to the county, landowner income to the landowners that leased with us, improved roads during construction, again, maintaining adequate roads during construction and operations, and supporting the local utility infrastructure. Again, this improves grid reliability, CPS, again, being a partner in this, and so that's the current sentiment that we're working on. And ultimately, we are requesting the commissioners to allow us to submit a 3-year tax abatement application, which we can discuss at a later meeting as well. But again, we're here today to present the project, and any questions that you have, we can answer.
So why don't you go ahead and describe where the project is going to be, and how many acres it involves, some of those kind of things?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the project, right now, we have signed about 2,600 acres with private landowners. We plan to use about 1,100 to 1,200 acres for the final project design. And it's, like I said, it's located about 20 to 30 miles southeast of San Antonio, in between Floresville and Calaveras.
Be more specific. That's pretty wide.
Yeah, it's off of Farmers Market at 1303.
I'm looking at the map provided, and it looks like you actually bracket 1303, that there's a part of the project that is going to be to the north, and the part of the project's going to be to the south. And you're actually going to have to do a road crossing to facilitate this.
That's correct, yes. I can go into some of the other crossings, yes. So there will be currently proposed 5 different crossings. There's an existing Union Pacific Railroad easement. There's a pipeline. There are 2 roads, you're correct. One is a county road and another is a TxDOT road. So working in that permitting regime of those entities, as well as actually San Antonio River Authority, a small little segment crosses where we'll be going overhead with planning to with a utility line. So following those procedures and application processes of those respective parties.
So are you looking at underground off the property and open as far as you can, or is it all going to be over the substation?
So for the utility lines, that would be the 138 kV, those would be overhead, sir, yes.
And are these going to be solar panels or battery storage units?
So currently we're proposing solar. We are looking at always grid reliability for our projects, wind, solar storage across the U.S. Currently batteries don't make a lot of sense right here, economic wise, and currently what's the need. So today is solar, and that's what we plan to do.
Solar panels?
Yes, proposed solar panels, yes.
All this property privately owned and leased.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You don't get a tax break.
So that typically helps projects, but again, we're proposing this project today, so nothing's guaranteed, but the tax abatement does assist, of course, in projects being moved.
Once it's fully built out, how many jobs are gonna be once this is fully built out? How many jobs are bringing to Wilson County?
Yeah, during
What they
the,
built?
sure, during the construction period, we will hire an ETC who sources local labor, and that will be 200 to 300 jobs for a project of this size during the duration of the year that we're going to be in construction, and then that will be narrowed down to an operations crew throughout the life of the project. And solar projects really don't need a lot of maintenance. We have an on-site O&M building, and it will be staffed by 3 to 5 full-time maintenance workers for the life of the project.
What's the life of the project?
The life of the project is projected to be about 30 years or so before. That's often the useful life of the infrastructure itself before we look at upgrading it, before we look at decommissioning it, all that. So that's about the point when we reevaluate it.
So whenever you're out to decommission it, what do we do with all these solar panels and this land afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as an industry and speaking to 30-year life, again, these projects are built to withstand tumultuous sort of life cycle, right? Weather patterns, wind, even hail, right? There's sowing technology that we plan to install here. Weather system radars to figure out exactly where weather storms are coming in. So about maybe halfway through a 30-year cycle, you could see a repowering of sorts. So even those panels that we would be planning to install could be recycled. The industry as itself has seen a large ability to recycle solar. So panels, when they degrade, of course, as anything does, car engines, over time, it makes sense to repower. And also during decommissioning, those panels would be planned to be recycled. So they would be removed. Land, again, in every single contract we have with private landowners, would be replaced to a similar condition that it was left in. There are no massive concrete pads. These are put in the ground with steel poles, so to be secured to the ground. Those would be removed, and decommissioning would occur again prior to leaving the project site.
So in 15 years, whenever y'all go back to see about all this, are y'all gonna ask for another abatement in 15 years?
No, sir, that would not be the plan.
These would be fixed panels, not removable, or not the ones that track the sun or whatever.
They would be tracking the sun, yes.
Yeah.
That's how we track the sun.
For efficiency.
And that also contributes to the stowing technology. If there's a hail event, we do have a remote operation center that can see the status of panels, and our O&M team that's on site will be able to track. Just like how panels are doing, they'll be able to see if it's short, they'll be able to see if like section goes down, if there's something wrong. And especially hail events, we stow the panels at a 60-degree angle, so they can get that far by the hail, and that really helps them last a lot longer.
So you heard Mrs. Kitty, our speak today, she has spoken to these topics multiple times over multiple years. And we have done one abatement, and we incorporated into it as many protectionary measures as we could. And of course, the biggest, let me back that up. A strong concern is, and this is probably premature for y'all just coming here today and introducing yourself. But at no point in time do we ever want it to where it can be sold off to an entity that is somebody who doesn't pay taxes. And all of a sudden, what we were looking to be a business arrangement, it gets thrown away, and the company walks away smiling, and the county gets nothing for any type of contractual agreement that we enter into. Is there a plan to ever sell off this to CPS, any other entity, that y'all wouldn't be the owner and they would, and the county would lose out?
Understood. No, I fully hear that concern. Again, developing projects nationwide, that is a clear sentiment that a lot of our counterparts have and partners in the project. As of now, again, we're building this project to own and operate. We have a long history of owning and operating, developing projects from ground up to where it is in operation and helping the grid. We're always obviously looking at opportunities where it makes sense for our off-taker or again, the community. Again, the project agreements that we sign today and what we're doing to develop are sticking with the project, and so that is the plan. And Evan, if there's anything further you'd like to add, but we're not covered this. Yeah, exactly.
Ms. Gibby, this isn't a public hearing, it's more
I'm
of a
just-
presentation, so. But to continue on along the same lines as Commissioner Akins, so tell us about what you think your water usage would be. Do these panels, are they gonna get washed, cleaned, or is it just all done by, rain that we don't get much of around here right now? So that's one of the big concerns, obviously, for folks. What's your water usage?
Yes. Well, so I develop projects in heavy farming communities, ranching communities. Water is very important. Also where I live as well. And ultimately, the water, the minimal water use is primarily during construction. There is no typically a operations water usage. Again, we don't watch these panels. We let nature do that kind of effort. And so ultimately, during construction is when we would be using water. but there is no intent to use, water in their excess during operations to clean any panels for that, matter.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, now y'all know everything that we know. And, about 90% of this I didn't know until this morning myself. Mr. Van Dyke did contact me, well, that's, there may be a solar project coming due, I need to coordinate with, and what I need to do. So this is the very first step in this process, is to come and to listen to them about what their project is and if they're doing it good, so. Thank y'all. And,
Thank you.
We'll have to get a hold of this.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Executive session, maybe legal advice on ethics.
Yes, for the county to look into expenditures and just for transparency. I had drafted a proposed resolution for commissioners to consider, sent to each one of you individually with no discussion, but there still appears to be some legal concerns about the parameters and the legal ramifications of such an audit, including costs to the county. So I don't know if anyone has particular questions, but because of the type of audit that is being requested, some of you have voiced legal concerns to me individually, and I tried to answer, but I don't believe that everyone seems to understand what the legal implications are of conducting such an audit the way it's provided for the local government code. So, if you want further legal advice about this, then we probably should go into executive session to discuss that before any resolution is actually adopted. I prepared a draft, so, and there were a lot of concerns about that, so it wasn't anything specific, but there are legal implications to the draft that I did provide to each of you at the beginning.
So I'll entertain if y'all want to go into executive session.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, we are going into take a recess from regular session 9:39, and go into executive